Hello, everyone. Welcome to our webinar where I'm going to be sharing you the 2026 plans. Just so you're aware, we are recording this. We'll send it out to everyone. So if you have colleagues that you feel would benefit from watching this, you'll be able to forward them the recording as well. So taking a look at our strategy, everything is now focused around the partner collaboration platform. So you'll start to see some updated marketing materials and just really kind of clarifying what our offering is to the members. So if you take a look at the platform, of course, we have the system aspect of it. That's a TSANet Connect platform designed to really support this integrated collaboration. But then it's supported by our partner framework, which I'll give an update on that, as well as the association aspect of TSANet. So there's many ways to get involved: board of directors, committees, regional focus groups, and I'll share a bit about what we're doing in that area for 2026 as well. So taking a look at TSANet Connect current state, this is what I would call feature complete for Connect 2.0. So we have, of course, the Connect platform itself, and then we've built several ways of accessing it. So, of course, the web app, that was the first. It is fully featured. We have two system connectors. One is Salesforce, and the second is Microsoft Dynamics. And then we have the ability to do custom integration with our APIs as well. So all of these ways of accessing the system are compatible as far as features. So it doesn't matter if you have elected to install the Salesforce package and you want to collaborate with somebody that's on the web app or custom integration, it will work exactly the same way. No feature gaps at all going between these two methods. So of course, it supports the bidirectional creation of a request, updating the request, notes and attachments, so fully functional. We've got the SLA monitoring and escalation management built in. Of course, these many different ways of accessing it, and quite a bit of effort spent on the security side as well, with the ISO certifications and all the other things that go to make sure that this thing is secure. So that is the current state. We just released our February release. So this is making us ready for Connect 3.0. So everything you're seeing here in 2026 is part of the Connect 3.0 strategy. So if we take a look at what we've done for February, it's really to support those new features and also just bring the platform up as far as performance and reliability as well. So we've made a change in the hosting environment for all of the different environments that we have. We've updated all the technology for the web app. We've migrated to Postgres database, updated and migrated the messaging broker. And then we have BetterStack that's now doing the system monitoring and incident handling. And of course, a few bug fixes as well. But as you can see, this was a major technology update that we did in February. So that is where we're at right now. So everyone that's using the platform is on all this new stuff. So if we go into then kind of maybe mapping out what's happening in 2026 and where you'll see TSANet investing, and then where we are looking for partnering, maybe some co-development with members. Hopefully this defines that. So of course, we will focus on the core platform itself, and then we will focus on these three areas as far as connectivity into the platform. So the web app, we'll continue to maintain that. Of course, that's this, you don't have to talk to IT. It's a real fast solution to get up and going. So it's very appropriate for a lot of our members. And then we are going to focus on these three connectors. So Salesforce, we already have today, and that we're on track to get that into the Salesforce marketplace to make it a little easier for members to install that and keep it updated. Microsoft Dynamics is a second one that we have in place, and then you'll see where we're going to be working on ServiceNow. So those will be the three that we develop and we maintain and enhance, and there's different reasons for doing that. Obviously, we want to really kind of make it very easy for members that are on some of these platforms that we see a lot. But then we also know that there are many, many platforms out there that we will not be able to make connectors for. And that could be due to the fact that maybe it's even a platform that's custom. It's not even something available on the market. So for that, we have the TSANet API. And of course, we use that to make the connectors. So what you'll see us doing is starting to be very transparent about how we made the connectors, the source code, all those types of things to help either partner create a connector for another platform or a member wanting to do that as well. So if you take a look at then our overall integration strategy going into 2026, we are focusing on the top side. So of course, we just kind of mentioned the connectors, the web app, and then I've placed in there what I'm calling strategic integration. So these could be integrations to other platforms or things that help us scale up. So of course there'd be some things that make sense for us to be very involved in the integration. But then we're really going to apply some more effort into this, what we call developer support, where we are allowing community integrations. And of course, this wouldn't be you're completely on your own. There'd be some assist here, but this would be an area where, hey, I've got a developer, I've got this platform, I'd like to integrate to it. So we're going to try to make that much easier than it is today to really kind of allow scaling out here to where you're not waiting for us to build a connector. So hopefully be very clear what are the connectors that we are going to build, and then what are the connectors that we will help you or partners build. So that is the strategy. If we look then at Connect 3.0, and I'll talk a little bit about the technology committee that we put in place here, but this gives you hopefully a little bit of sense of the scope or the areas that we're going to be looking at for Connect 3.0. So first, and I would maybe argue this is a top priority, is members that have already integrated. So we have heard from those members things that they would like to see improve. So real-time updates, that in fact is a thing that we're working on right now to basically make the experience more real-time. So shooting out some webhooks to allow those refreshes. Integrated escalation process. Once you install this within your system, of course, it doesn't make that much sense to have an out-of-band escalation process. Most members do have that designed within their system. Maybe they even expose that out on their web portal where you can escalate a case. So we want to integrate that so it's not an out-of-band process for escalation. And then we are starting to see some new use cases. I just put sovereign support on here, but of course there's many other use cases. So our approach to members that have integrated is we want to make sure that you take the full advantage of the fact that you've integrated. So if there is a use case that you're wondering, can we support? The answer is going to be yes. And if we don't support it today, we'll figure out what type of feature or functionality we need to bring in there in order to support that. And then as far as AI goes, the idea here is to leverage members' AI. So we'll be looking at some different use cases here. For example, one that always seems to come up is this for outbound next best action, right? So your engineers within your CRM system, of course, they're getting prompted for what about this knowledge article? What about this? And it definitely could prompt them for what about collaborating with this other partner? So looking at what's going on in the case, of course, this then is AI that's staying within your system. So it's not touching our system or the data, keeps it kind of separated, doesn't open up some of those security questions. So that's what we're talking about for AI. Then as far as the partner managers, we are going to make it much more simple to add relationships. So some of this is related to the limited member changes that we're making, which I'll highlight a little bit later. But obviously what we want to do is just make it very, very easy for a partner manager to say, I want to work with this partner. How can we make that very, very streamlined and very easy? The second thing that we've been hearing, and a lot of this is from the ISVs that are connected to a host, where during the integration process, so they're working with the members' APIs and trying to get their products to work together. So there's not a common customer involved at that point. but of course they still need support. So we'd like to loop that in as well. And then we are going to expand our API because we do know some companies do their partner management in a different system. So it could be maybe it's a different Salesforce instance, or maybe you just manage it kind of completely different. But this making sure we've got a very easy way to loop into whatever your workflow is as far as how you manage partners, onboard them, all of those types of things. That's what we're talking about there. And then I'll be talking about how we're expanding to service providers. So I'll kind of hold on that, but you'll see some things that we're going to be doing there because we feel that's the next obvious step for us. And then as I talked, we want to lean in a bit more to developers to really open up the people access to the API. So there'd be some improvements potentially with some of the APIs we've already heard because we have done some of these custom developments with companies already. So some enhancements we've been making with the APIs, and we'll continue to do that. Making sure it's very easy and you understand how to get support on the development side, and really kind of improving our documentation and sample code. So today we do have Gitbook. We've got all the APIs documented, but of course providing a little bit more guidance, sample code cookbooks on that side just to kind of help accelerate how these connections are being made. So that is the focus area for 3.0. So then shifting into the technology partner framework. And again, this is kind of a supporting aspect, right? So if you take a look at the overall approach to Connect, is we want to understand all of your technology partners, how they align with this model. And then, of course, we've got service providers coming, but we know that each of these partner models usually drives a little bit different use case. So on the common customer certified, it's usually very straightforward. It's kind of the default collaborative support. But once we get into solution support and OEM, it can be a lot different. So we could have a warm transfer model. We could have, critical escalations, very streamlined entitlement. So that tends to be something where we work a little closer with the two members that are either going to market with a solution or they have an OEM model that they need to do. So this was a lot of work we did last year, and I think we're in a good position now to help members bring those use cases onto TSANet because historically they tended to be outside of TSANet. So then expanding to service providers. So again, we feel this is the next step. And what you see here is just a very high level roadmap. And we have scoped this to be managed service providers and third-party maintainers. And the reason that we kind of did that is once you get into like distribution and resellers, at least at this point, we feel it's not a great use case. Maybe the volume isn't there. It's not interesting enough for our members and, of course, these service providers. But if you got an MSP or third-party maintainer, there tends to be more volume, more desire to stay within their system versus swivel chairing over to many different extranets. So our phase one, we've defined the scope and objectives. We kind of have an early adopter program. We've identified a few use cases there. So our idea in the first half is we're going to be in a learn mode. So we can take all those learnings into phase two. So once we look at phase two, and again, this is in the second half, we'd be expanding the stakeholders. We would start to see potentially some changes that we're making in the Connect platform with 3.0 to enable some of the things that we've seen from the learn phase. And then as we go into 2027, it's really productizing that and expanding it out. So that is how we're looking for managed service providers. So if you do have some of those use cases and you would like to talk about those, please reach out. So then here's how the partner framework looks like for 2026. Again, the first half, we want to continue to implement some of these solution and OEM support models. Really focusing on elite members there, starting the early access for service providers. And then we have the limited member piece, which I'll go over a little bit later. And then the second half, you see more expansion and building out the service provider stuff, understanding what we need to do for Connect 3.0 for partner managers, And then at this point, I think we're going to be having some best practices and case studies, and the idea is we're going to keep on feeding that back to the members. So you'll see a section in GitHub that starts to show some best practices and case studies for these different use cases. So OEM, how do we enable that? What are all the setups? What do you need to do? What do you need to have support in place so that they're much more repeatable for other members? So that is the partner framework. And then the last piece I want to cover with the partner program update is the limited members. So if you're not familiar with the limited member concept, this is really designed to allow elite members to bring on all their partners into a partner program. So it's a very low cost, very easy way to just onboard, right? And we're talking in some cases host members that might have 200-300 partners that they just onboard into this. So limited member is kind of just like it said, there's limitations. So what we've done is clarified those a bit more and also streamlined some things. So this is based on conversation both with limited members as well as the host. So we will be capping the limited membership model to 3 relationships. So you can have up to 3 relationships with your different partners. As soon as you hit your 4th, then you go into this upgrade path. And the second bullet really kind of highlights the fact that we want to keep this very predictable. So limited member will have a single yearly invoice. So for example, you had your 3 relationships, you paid your invoice or maybe the host paid them. And you had your 4th relationship 1 month after you did that. We're not going to go chase you up for another invoice. That would be something that happens on your renewal date. So there's some a period of time where you get the 4th free. And then to really support that as well, I heard before, streamlining the new relationship process. So of course, as soon as a limited member is on, they can actually request relationships with other members as well. And we used to have a lot of restrictions on that. And the idea is to really kind of open that up. So let members establish relationships with each other. Don't put a lot of policy and things in between that. So for example, we never would allow a limited member to have a relationship with another limited member. But of course, why not? So some of these things I think were discussed quite a bit during the last board meeting in January, and I think we're in pretty good alignment on how to make the limited membership a bit more valuable. And then the 4th thing is this integrated support. I talked about this before. This again tends to be, if you think about the life of a limited member, they start with, hey, I want to integrate my product to your product, or I want to make sure my product is compatible with your product. And in some cases, they need more help in that early phase than they do in the later phase where it's out to market. This is, I don't want to call it developer support, but it's really kind of at the point where there's not a common customer involved yet. So that's a use case that we're going to be turning on as well. Okay, so the last section here, getting involved. And I'm really going to focus in on the committees and the regional focus groups. But I will say we do have a board of directors that are heavily involved. And I would say we've gotten great feedback. If you are an elite member and you're not participating in the board of directors, we do have voting that takes place each year. So kind of watch for the communication coming out from there. There's always opportunities to put your hat in for that. Now, of course, that is part of then voting. So the members vote on the board of directors, but I think that's a great opportunity if you want to get heavily involved. The second opportunity is TSANet committees. I'm going to spend some time on the Connect 3.0 committee, but we also do have a security committee. So as you can imagine, we've got all these ISO certs and those types of things, and we need kind of a guiding body to help make sure we're remaining kind of in the front on that. So we do have a security committee in place as well, but I'll be talking more about the technology committee. And then the regional focus groups, I would say if you have not attended a regional focus group, I would put that on your list this year. Those have been very well attended last year. We do have in person, but then they're usually, well, I shouldn't say usually, there's always a remote attend option. So, of course, we'd love you to attend in person, but we do know sometimes travel's not possible or it doesn't fit in your schedule. So we've really kind of opened these up in each of the regions for remote access as well. And then again, I won't talk about community integrations. You will see probably in the uh, summertime, we'll have a lot more detail about that. And you'll see that start to get built out on Gitbook as well as far as exactly how does that work. Okay, so the Connect 3.0 Technology Committee, we do have a blog on this. You can click on that link. Again, you get the slides and the recording, but it is going to be chaired by Teresa from Cloudera, and we have Red Hat, IBM, Nutanix, Dell, Microsoft, Cisco, and NetApp participating in the committee. And if you think about what the committee does, right, is they're working closely with our development teams, really kind of make sure that we're not developing things in isolation. We don't understand how things work in the real world or in your IT environments, and just kind of make sure we don't go down the wrong path. And we did this for Connect 2.0, and it probably really saved us and made sure that we did the right thing. So I'll give you a great example, right? The Salesforce connector, we did that co-development with both Red Hat and IBM. And that helped us say, okay, let's make sure that we can make a Salesforce connector that works in all the members' environments. And I will say, we learned a lot through that. We actually changed our mind many, many times. So it's kind of very iterative. And that's kind of leading us to where we are now. We're going to have a connector that you can get through the marketplace, all vetted out by Salesforce, all updatable, and it just kind of shows how things changed quite a bit once we got in there. We thought we would just do some one-off integrations, but the more we had conversations, the more it was like, you just give us a package, you manage that all. We can't be sitting here, touching our Salesforce all the time. So kind of leveraging that upgradability model was things we learned there. So that is the technology committee. We do plan to have the kickoff call in March. And then, as you can imagine, there'll probably be some more kind of, we'll say sub streams, right, where we can kind of discuss certain points. And these, again, could be opportunities. Once we get that, we can go out to other members and get feedback on certain things. So if you're not on here, don't get discouraged. Reach out to me if you do want to be involved. Minimally, we can make sure that you're part of kind of the review aspect of these features before we lock them down and start developing them. So that is the Connect 3.0 piece. The last piece is a regional focus group. So we do have all of these focus groups in place. So we've got North America, we've got Europe, we've got India, we've got Japan, and we have Australia. And I will say, each of these, as you can imagine, spans a few more areas as well. Like Australia obviously covers all the other countries within Asia, with the exception of Japan. We have the specific one in Japan. But the idea here is each of these groups are somewhat independent in that they can define what are the things that they want to talk about when they meet. So it could be very different, right? So what are kind of some of the challenges and things? And this obviously provides a great opportunity for members to get together and network, discuss things either both directly related to TSANet or part of support. So again, there have been a lot of discussions that maybe don't have anything to do with TSANet, like, nearshoring strategies or self-service AI, some of those types of things that still we like to let members kind of define what they want to discuss. But there's always the area where you're reviewing an influenced TSANet strategy. So for example, in the North America focus group last year, it was heavily focused on building out that partner framework. So we invited partner managers and folks like that. So you may see some of these regional focus groups where we have line items or or topics of discussion related to Connect 3.0 where we're getting input on. And we do have spring and fall meetings for each region. If you go to this URL, you will see when they're scheduled. In fact, I would say by another week or so, you should see all of the regions where there's a date set. We're just kind of waiting on some hosting things in each of the regions. And again, if you feel that you would like to host one of these as well, please reach out. So again, these tend to be smaller meetups. I would say kind of 30-person type size. So we like to have those hosted at a members facility, and then of course expanding it out for online as well.